Bibliometric analysis is like being a detective of data, but instead of clues, we have research papers. It's about looking at tons of academic work to understand trends, important authors, and connections. It shows which researchers write the most, which journals publish on a topic, and how ideas evolve. Bibliometric analysis gives researchers a bird's-eye view of their field. It's about connecting the dots and finding patterns in academic research. Choosing the right topic is like laying the foundation for a strong building. It needs careful thought. First, think about what truly interests you in education or social sciences. Are you curious about the impact of technology on rural education or the effectiveness of different teaching methods for children with disabilities? Once you have a broad area in mind, narrow it down. Instead of technology in education, focus on the use of mobile apps for teaching English in government schools. This specific focus helps you delve deeper. Look at recent research papers, news articles, and policy documents to identify trending topics. Are people talking about the impact of the National Education Policy 2020 or the mental health of students post-pandemic? These are potential areas for bibliometric analysis. Remember, the best research questions are clear, focused, and answerable through data. For instance, what is the impact of the midday meal scheme on student enrollment in Bihar? Is a more specific and researchable question than is the midday meal scheme good? Like a carpenter needs the right tools, a researcher needs the right resources for bibliometric analysis. Thankfully, we have many digital tools at our disposal. Databases like Scopus and Web of Science are like treasure troves of academic papers. They allow you to search for specific keywords, authors, or journals. Imagine you are researching the impact of yoga on student well-being. You can use these databases to find all the papers published on this topic in the last decade. Google Scholar, though not as comprehensive, is a good starting point. It's like the Google search of research papers, giving you a broad overview of what's out there. Don't forget about specialized databases. For education research, ERIC, Education Resources Information Center, is invaluable. Similarly, JSTOR is a great resource for social sciences, providing access to a vast archive of academic journals. Once you've identified relevant databases, familiarize yourself with their features. Each database has its own quirks and search operators. Learning how to use them effectively can save you time and effort. Once you've got your tools ready, it's time to roll up your sleeves and start collecting data. Think of this stage as gathering all the ingredients before you start cooking. Your main ingredient is the research papers themselves. Using the keywords you identified earlier, start searching in your chosen databases. For instance, if your topic is the impact of artificial intelligence on higher education in India, use keywords like artificial intelligence, higher education, India, and related terms. Don't just download everything you find. Carefully read the titles and abstracts of the papers to ensure they are relevant to your research question. Look for papers published in reputable journals and written by established authors in the field. Remember, data collection isn't limited to databases. Government reports, policy documents, and even conference proceedings can provide valuable insights. For example, if you're studying the impact of the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme, government reports on girl-child education would be crucial data points. As you gather data, keep it organized. Create folders for different types of sources and use a consistent naming convention for files. This will save you headaches later when you start analyzing your data. Section 5. Wrangling data, from database to spreadsheet. Now comes the slightly less glamorous but crucial part, cleaning and organizing your data. Imagine having a room full of books and papers. You need to organize them before you can start reading and analyzing them. Most bibliometric databases allow you to export data in formats like CSV or Excel. This raw data often includes information like the paper's title, authors, journal, abstract, keywords, and citations. Once you have your data in a spreadsheet, it's time to clean it up. This might involve removing duplicates, fixing inconsistencies in author names or affiliations, and standardizing keywords. For instance, AI and artificial intelligence might refer to the same thing, so you'll need to consolidate them. You might need to manually add some data points, like the year of publication or the country of the author. This step is crucial for accurate analysis later on. Think of this stage as preparing your ingredients before cooking. Chopping vegetables, measuring spices. It's all about getting your data ready to be analyzed. Section 6. Making sense of the numbers. Key analysis techniques. With your data prepped and ready, it's time for analysis. Use statistical tools to find answers in the data. Citation analysis shows a paper's influence. High citations on online learning during COVID-19 indicate significant impact. Co-authorship analysis reveals collaboration patterns. Keyword analysis shows key themes and trends. Tools like VOS Viewer and SiteSpace visualize relationships. Section 7. Telling the story, interpreting your findings. Numbers alone don't tell the whole story. Imagine reading a recipe. Just the ingredients list doesn't tell you what the dish will taste like. Interpretation is about adding flavor and context to your findings. Once you've analyzed the data, step back and look for patterns, trends, and surprises. Don't just state the obvious. Dig deeper and ask why. Why are certain authors more influential? Why do collaborations cluster around specific topics or institutions? For instance, if your analysis reveals a sudden increase in publications on online education after 2020, it's not enough to simply state this trend. You need to connect it to the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on educational practices in India. Relate your findings back to your original research question. Did your analysis provide answers? Did it raise new questions? This is where you connect the dots and weave a narrative around your data. Remember, interpretation is not about cherry-picking data to support your preconceived notions. It's about being objective, acknowledging limitations, and presenting a balanced view of your findings. Structuring your research paper, a step-by-step guide. Present your findings clearly and logically. Start with an introduction. Explain bibliometric analysis and your research topic. State your research question and objectives. Describe your methodology. Present your findings with tables and graphs. Focus on the most relevant results. Interpret your findings and their implications. Conclude with key findings and future research. Section 9. Showcasing your work. Presenting your bibliometric analysis. You've cooked a fantastic meal, plated it beautifully. Now it's time to share it with the world. Presenting your bibliometric analysis can take many forms, from academic conferences to journal publications. When preparing your presentation, keep your audience in mind. Are you presenting to fellow researchers or a more general audience? Tailor your language and level of detail accordingly. Use visuals. Graphs, charts, and network maps can make complex data more engaging and easier to understand. Tools like PowerPoint or Prezi can help you create visually appealing presentations. Focus on the story you want to tell. What are the key takeaways from your analysis? What are the most interesting or surprising findings? Don't try to cram everything into one presentation. Focus on the most important points. Be prepared to answer questions. Your audience may have questions about your methodology, your findings, or the implications of your research. Anticipate these questions and prepare clear and concise answers. Remember, presenting your work is not just about sharing your findings. It's about engaging in a dialogue with other researchers and contributing to the ongoing conversation in your field. Section 10. Conclusion: the power of bibliometric analysis. As we've journeyed through the world of bibliometric analysis, one thing is clear. This method is a powerful tool for researchers in education and social sciences. It allows us to move beyond individual studies and see the bigger picture, to map the landscape of research and identify trends, influential authors, and emerging areas of study. Imagine a researcher wanting to understand the impact of the Right to Education Act on inclusive education in India. Bibliometric analysis can reveal the key publications, the most influential authors, and the evolving discourse around this intersection of law and education. However, like any tool, its effectiveness depends on the skill of the user. Careful topic selection, rigorous data collection, and thoughtful interpretation are crucial for meaningful insights. In an age of information overload, bibliometric analysis helps us navigate the vast sea of academic literature and find the pearls of wisdom that can inform policy, practice, and future research. It's about making sense of the conversation, connecting the dots, and ultimately, advancing knowledge.